Good morning. Happy Saturday. Just got back from a 1.5 mile walk. Walked a 1.5 miles yesterday evening with my friend, and that was not the best mile. It was really hot, and it was a slow 1.5 miles, but we did it, and I'm glad that we did. This morning was a really good 1.5 miles, even though it was still probably a little warmer than I would have preferred. I did like 20 minutes and no. Yes. 20 minutes, 25 seconds. 20 minutes, 25 seconds. That's really good for me. That is, but I'm going to make sure that's right. I don't know. I think that's right. Yeah. 20 minutes, 25 seconds. That's really good for me. That like beats my last one in my neighborhood on my route that has hills by like a whole minute. So that's pretty good. My only concern this morning is something that's happened like the last 3 times that I've walked. After I get to like a mile, 1.25 miles, I feel like I stop sweating. And that bothers me. It doesn't make me feel very good, for one thing. And then I feel like I have to cut my walk short. But it's like my cheeks all of a sudden get hot and dry up, and I don't feel the sweat, on my forehead or on my back like I did before. I don't know. I got to do a little research about that because I'm hydrating well. I'm definitely hydrating at night. I usually just have a little bit of something to drink before I walk or exercise in the morning, not a whole lot. And then, of course, when I get back, I have like a whole water bottle and then just probably go right into drinking something else right away because I'm usually someone that has a drink to sip on all day long anyway. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that because in comparison, when I'm doing my group workout and we're doing weights and everything, I'm sweating the whole time, like pouring sweat constantly. So obviously that's good because that's what keeps you cooled off, keeps you from overheating. But I'm thinking maybe it does have to do with the temperature because when I'm doing the group workout, it's at 5:15 in the morning. It's obviously much, much cooler. So I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that a little bit because the last thing I want to do is like pass out while I'm walking, especially if I'm by myself. You got to be careful. That's certainly something that is one of the most obvious things to take care of. You don't want to overheat yourself. So, good news. This came in the mail yesterday. I got a couple of friends with me this morning. I had to come in, say hello. Had to come inside to do my video because my battery was about to die. So I had to put a blanket on the couch so that it didn't get nasty from my gross sweatiness. So the Fitbit came. I am learning how to use it. It's really cool. It's got a lot of information. I love that it's like telling me my heart rate all day long. It's telling me to get up and move every hour. It obviously tracked my walk and told me how far I went and mapped it on the app, just like the Map My Walk did. Told me my pace. It told me as I was walking, it would buzz and tell me if I was doing cardio, fat burning, when I had gotten to my peak. It told me all of this stuff, which was, really helpful because, you want to get to your peak, but you don't want to go over your peak. You don't want to, again, you don't want to like be laid out in the road or something. So really cool stuff. It also tracks your sleep. Apparently had a pretty good night of sleep last night. My sleep score was 88, which means that I got plenty of all of the stages of sleep that I needed, and I was awake a certain amount. Did you know that your body normally will wake up like 8 to 10 times during the night, but you don't always remember it because it's for such a short period of time? I didn't know that. I learned that today. I just figured when I wake up, I know I wake up. But there you go. So I'm really interested in, tracking all this information over time. I think it helps me to just really know when I'm ready to move to another level or whether what I'm doing is effective. So I think that's great. I feel like things have been effective so far, but I think this is just another tool to help motivate me and give me data that, makes it pretty clear as far as what's working and what's not working. But today is day 19 of exercising, and so 2 more days until it becomes a habit, right? I'm going with that. But the other thing is, seeing results. When you start to see results, you really buy in to what you're doing. And I don't mind telling you that I walked by the mirror this morning in my exercise leggings, and I said to myself, girl, you're looking pretty good. Not bad for 3 weeks. I can tell a difference. Like, when you can really start to tell a difference, it motivates you. I was thinking about that this morning, I was thinking about endurance this morning. Thinking about how a mile and a half was kind of hard this morning, even though my pace was really good. Maybe that's part of why it was hard. But like some days, you can do almost 2.5 miles and feel really good about it. Some days you do 1.5 miles and you're like, I'm ready to go in and sit down. But, again, as we've talked about before, at least you're getting up and doing it, because 1 mile, mile and a half, 2 miles, 2.5 miles is all a whole lot more than 0. But how do you get to where you're building up and doing more and almost always doing more? And I don't have an answer for that other than the more you walk or the more you run or the more you exercise, the more consistent you are, science says, the more you're going to improve, the more you're going to grow, and the more endurance you're going to have. It takes practice, right? It just takes doing it. But it had me thinking about, if that's your physical endurance, what about your mental, emotional, spiritual endurance? All of those things that are, also a huge part of your well-being. And, I thought about it and I was praying about it and just talking to God a little bit while I was walking this morning. And he's like, I've designed you so that your physical endurance is really obvious and how you gain physical endurance. But when it comes to all of the rest, he provides the endurance for everything else and the physical endurance too. But it's more obvious with everything else. We don't have to just make ourselves mentally strong by doing mental challenges, although that can help. We don't have to go through difficult emotional things in order to be emotionally strong, although it can make us emotionally strong when we do. And we don't have to go through crazy spiritual things in order to be strong spiritually and, have that endurance to get through battles. But the way that he gives us the ability to endure difficult things in our lives is through his word and studying his word and talking to him. So when we have prioritized that in our lives and we're reading the Bible, studying the Bible, praying and spending time with him, he's providing endurance for us in anything that we have to face. And that's amazing to me. That is, it's like your one-stop shop. Forgive me if that just sounds kind of corny or cheesy, but it all boils down to this one thing, and that's one book of words that, is the bread of life, and spending time with God and getting to know him. And when we do that, our endurance is unlimited as far as what we can do and what we can withstand. And I know that because I've lived it and I've experienced it. And if I didn't have him in my life, if I hadn't studied the word of God, and believe me, I continue to, and believe me, I need to, And believe me when I say I don't always do it as much as I should. But I know what I know, what I know. And studying the Word of God, spending time with Him, that's what gives me endurance. So just wanted to share that with you guys today. I am going to go do a little project here in a little while. Apparently, there are some tadpoles living in my drainage ditch. And I really thought like the rain would just kind of wash them on down into somebody else's yard and it wouldn't affect me in some way. But they're still there. And I really don't know how they didn't wash down. I don't know. But they've been there for 3 days. And today's going to be hot. And that water's going to evaporate. And I can't handle it. So I guess I'm going to go scoop some tadpoles and put them in a bucket. And we'll see what happens. All right. So I hope your Saturday is just as exciting as mine is about to be. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.